right, welcome everybody. Welcome to this next yoga class. I don't know what I was going to say. Next installment of yoga. Here we are. We're bringing passion this morning. Passion is what takes you from the mundane into the sublime, into the beautiful. So when my daughter was little, actually some of you were, yoga students of me when my daughter was little, and you remember me talking about it was challenging to have a young child at home all the time. That was really a lot for me. And so I consider that one of the harder times in my life. And luckily, it's not really that hard. So thank goodness for that. And so I had yoga, which was such a profound support. But I also suddenly needed to sew. And I needed to sew like a lot. Like it just would take over. And I would have this, like the idea for a project, or color palettes would be always in my head, or just different ideas would be coming up. And I just was sort of consumed by, if I wasn't dealing with her or I wasn't doing yoga, you would find me sewing a lot. And it was kind of frenetic. It was a lot. And I would say, the good thing about that is that it would bring my energy up, because I would get kind of dull and depleted. And so it would really bring my energy up, and I would have a sense of coming alive with the creative process. And I remember those hours as being really rejuvenating and filling for me. And so I would definitely say that I had a passion for sewing during that time. It really was like a deep inner passion at that moment that brought me a lot of joy. So when you think about passion, it's that strong feeling or emotion, can be the object of the strong feeling or emotion, or just a sense of really, really liking something. Hopefully you've all experienced a passion for something or someone at some time in your life. And I bring it in this week because we're turning towards the fire element. And those two, we've been with earth, we've been with water, we've had mud, but now we're into fire, and fire and passion share qualities, right? They both are fast. They both kind of catch hold and then regenerate themselves. And they both have the quality of transformation. They can transform us. Fire will catch hold and spread really quickly and regenerate itself, making more of itself quickly. And passion has that same ability to do that. It's when it takes over. So it's spreading and engulfing. And I really do think that our passions arise to help us transform, to point us in the direction of transformation, because they ask more of us than whatever it is we've been doing. And so when we come onto the yoga mat, you can get here feeling like, I have no passion for life, like I'm exhausted. It's been a week or a month or a year or a decade. It's been a while. I've got a lot going on. You can come in with that kind of heaviness, dullness, depletion. And as we know, yoga can help fill the cup, of course. But it also can help to re-spark some interior passion, some of the inner aliveness that gets to be dulled down during the week. And so when we practice, it helps us to wake up on all these different levels, right? We're waking up the body. We're getting more in tune with the breath, possibly freeing up the breath. The mind has to come online, wake up a bit. We may get in touch with emotion as well. So all these different layers get stimulated and uplifted, hopefully, by the practice. And also, when you bring some fire and some passion into how you do your poses, it's not about performing, right? But about the aliveness that you bring into your poses. You awaken the body in a new way. And when you embody the shapes that way, the practice goes from being just exercise, I'm out here getting exercise, into something more. It has the possibility to transport you into your heart, the place where you can meet the source of all of our passions, right? It's always a longing of the heart that's calling out, that's making these passions like sort of come alive within. And so when we practice, with a fire and with intention, we can certainly enter into the heart. And that's where the yogis want us to, like, where yoga is always pointing us back into the heart, back into the source, where we can connect with love, love that, can have a passionate quality. We need that kind of love in the world, where we can connect with the peace, with radiance, with the bliss that's already who we are. It just gets lost along the way, or forgotten, or set aside, buried maybe is a good word for me. So we'll invite some passion, some fire into our practice this week, with the intent not to just burn ourselves out, but the intent to enter the heart and to live from there. So we start with a good seat. Sit up well. Allow your hands to rest on your thighs as you close your eyes and turn inwards. And breathe in, and then all the way down to your sitting bones, where they rest on the mat or the floor. Feel how the earth is there holding you up. And lengthen up through the spine. You can feel the rippling quality of the spine, reminding you of water. And then soften a bit, staying tall, and turn your attention more towards your breath. Notice that the breath warms up as it enters the body. And notice the ease of movement of the breath or where it's stuck. Now becoming attentive to your energy, the quality of energy, like how vital and alive and impassioned do you feel in this moment? And it's all right if it's 0%. We'll see what happens as we move through practice today. Let whatever energy you have now turn towards the heart space. The heart's always available, we just don't always enter it. Let the gateway around the heart soften, enter in, and connect with the deeper source of you, of all of us that we share. And it's this that we want to blaze a path into and remember as we go through practice today. So now join your palms in front of your heart in an outward gesture of that inner connection. Listening deeply, form your intention for this practice. How do you wish to greet your practice? We'll chant one round of Om and follow that with the Shiva invocation. Welcome your in-breath. Om Namah Shivaya Gurave Satchidananda Murtaye Nishprapanchaya Shantaya Niralambaya Tejase. To the source of all passions, deep within the heart, bow your head. Release your hands down onto your thighs and lift back up. You can open your eyes and we'll come to hands and knees to begin in cat and cow. So place yourself well as you come to your hands and knees. Let me adjust my screen so you guys can see. There we go. And just soften first. Right? So first we soften to make connection. Then we see what happens. So as if you're setting up for the fire, make your hands steady and well, and then line up the arm bones under the shoulders, curl your toes under. Then begin to move with your breath. Inhale the thighs back and sweep your heart forward, lift it up. Exhale, scoop your tail round through the spine and look inwards. Go several times back and forth in your natural rhythm of cat and cow. Follow your breath. And if you're familiar with Ujjayi breath, create Ujjayi breath so it creates a little heat in the body. To do that, you tone your throat as if you're going to fog up a mirror, but keep your mouth closed. You should be able to hear your breath, but not be heard in the next room. Just enough. And that invites the body to start to heat up. One of the things that doing that can do for you is bring your attention right here, right now. And part of what keeps us out of our passions is that we're just not paying attention. We're distracted. So come right here, right now. And next time you exhale, come to a neutral spine that has curve and length. Take your right leg straight back behind you, curl your toes under and make your right leg firm. And then take a little tiny cough. And notice how your really low belly muscles engage when you do that cough. That's what we want to engage, the really low belly muscles. Keep them engaged, your transverse abdominals. Lift your right leg up parallel to the floor. And then take your left arm forward, left palm towards the right. Lift the sides of your waistline. Pull up through your right arm and your left leg into the fiery core of your belly. And now draw elbow and knee together underneath, curl up. And exhale, stretch back out. Use Ujjayi breath. Again, curl in. And exhale, stretch back out. Go one more time. Draw in, lift up your low belly. And exhale, stretch back out. Lower everything back down, hand and knee. Pause in the middle, reset yourself. And switch sides. Take your left leg straight back. Start with your toes curled under. Now it's a little cough. First, you can totally let your belly relax and notice how everything just sags towards the mat. Feels great, except it's not going to feel great on your joints after a moment. So then lift the side waistlines and go. It's a little tiny cough, and you'll feel again the transverse abdominals, really right between your bones in the front of your hips, engage. Keeping that strong, lift your left leg up and make your left leg firm. Side waistlines lift. Take your right arm forward and turn your palm towards the midline. Pause for a moment, and now we draw in. Bring your elbow and knee to meet or even to cross underneath, and then exhale and stretch back out. Again, inhale, draw in, lift the low belly up. Exhale, stretch out. And go one more time. Draw in, curl up. Good, and exhale, stretch back out. And then lower hand and knee back down. Take a round of cat and cow. Inhale, lift the heart. And exhale, scoop and round in. As you do, return attention to your heart space. We're connecting there with passion. Come back into the center. Claw with your hands firmly. And then just lift the knees a few inches up off the mat. Hover the knees in table. I call this hovering table. I don't know what else to call it. And then look slightly ahead. Do a little cough. Belly engages. Keep that. Walk your feet back just a couple of inches. Hands stay. And then push the hips back and stretch up, downward facing dog. Connect with your breath. Gently follow your body's natural passion, natural guidance to shift and move around a little bit. One of the things when we're making a fire,
I make fires often. I don't want it to get too big too fast because then I've got to feed it and it's just a lot of work. So at first, right now, we start with like the small pieces of wood, the little kindling, a couple of little movements to build some heat. But I don't want to burn you right away. I don't want you to get burned. So we're just starting to come into the body and feel what we feel. Come into neutral downward facing dog. With the hands pressed down, pull up through both arms, lift your armpits, hollow them, and hug your shoulder blades on the back of the heart. Firm the legs and take the tops of both inner thighs in and back and wide. We worked with that with the water equality the last few weeks. And then drop your tail and lift your low belly as you reach your heels back and down for the mat. Look up and forward between your hands and step your right foot all the way forward into lunge. Come up on fingertips. Take a deep breath. Soften. Breathe in, fill the body with breath, with a passionate full breath, and charge up the legs, squeezing them together, and then take the left inner thigh more to the left, the right hip back. Exhale, descend the left leg, take your right hand to your right thigh and twist into our psoas lunge. So the back knee continues to drag isometrically forward, and then hug your right hip in and underneath of you. Right sitting bone down. And that'll start that little belly engagement here too. Twist a little more if it's available, and either stay with your knee down and your hand down, enjoy the twist in this position, or with passion, lift the back leg and take the arm up or even up and over the ear. Wherever you are, bring your heart into the pose. I know you've done this a million times with me. We'll probably do it a million more. So we bring passion to it to make it more alive, even if it's familiar, like a long relationship. Exhale, bring your hand back down. Step back, downward facing dog. Deep breath in and downward facing dog. And a deep breath out. Now, lower both knees to a hover just above the mat. And crawl your knees into table. Just again, a little hover just above the mat. Look forward. Little cough of the belly. Lift the side waistline. Yep, the knees are still off, just that little hover. And then walk back again. And press up and back, downward facing dog. Take a deep breath in downward facing dog and step your left foot forward into lunge. Inhale to open to the source. Right? It's like release the shells that are constricted around you, open to something more, and then squeezing the legs towards each other, widen the the right thigh, but hug your left outer hip in. Lower your right knee down, put your left hand on your left thigh, twist. Yeah. Good. Scissor your right knee in. So you've got connection from the mat up into the pelvis, thigh wide. And the left hip will it's so sneaky, it will go left. Draw it back, scoop it under. And when you scoop it under, lift and tone your low belly. Yes, stay there or lift the back thigh, take the top arm up and over. So any of those variations, doesn't matter which one you choose, as long as it's coming from deeper, right? It's not just what your brain thinks, but what your heart is saying. And let the vision of the heart, let the passion of the heart start to spread out through fingertips, and through your back foot, through your whole body. Exhale, bring your hand back down. Step forward, standing forward, bend Uttanasana. Feet inner hip distance, make them parallel. So really align so that your body can awaken with ease. Same thing, like when I'm setting up the fire, if the sticks are lined up, if they're straighter, it's gonna burn better. Same in the legs. The Shakti can flow more easily when the feet are aligned, when the legs are aligned. So squeeze the inner shins in, take the tops of the outer thighs a little wider with the leg muscles toned, and then slide your buttocks flesh down towards your heels. Root the buttocks flesh down towards the heels. Inhale and reach your heart halfway forward. Exhale and fold over. Sweep the arms wide, buttocks flesh down, low belly up. Inhale all the way up. And as you rejoin your palms at your heart, return to your intention, the passion you wish to bring to practice today. And release your arms by your sides. So we've been working with different salutations. So this week we're working with a fire salutation. We'll see how it goes. You can always take out elements if you're getting too hot, if you're getting overheated, right? Or there's just too much challenge, which probably won't be for me today. But take out elements as needed. First, we start with chair pose. So bend the knees, you can swipe towards the floor, and inhale, lift both arms up. Hug the legs towards each other, sit back a little bit more. But notice if your knees are knocking together and keep them wide. So that keeps the hips wide. Now, a little cough in the low belly to engage. Exhale, bow forward, straighten the legs. Inhale with passion, reach the heart forward. Step back, plank, and exhale, pause. Lift the sides of the waistlines up. Now, you can hover in plank. You can put your knees down in plank and wait for us. Or it's a little walk, so the right leg lifts and the left leg lifts. What I want to encourage here is that it's small, going back and forth. So we're not doing like reverse kicks to the ceiling, just a little lift, but nothing else is moving, right? So shoulders don't move, hips don't move, just one and then the other, back and forth, or not. Lift your head, look ahead, exhale, lower to your belly. Pressing the tops of your feet down and back, interlace your fingers behind your back and curl up into little Shalabhasana, locust. And then exhale, lower, hands under shoulders. Come up to table pose. So the knees need to crawl in, lift the knees, and now it's a little bear crawl to the back of the mat. When your feet hit the back of the mat, you've made it. So right leg and left hand move, left hand, right leg. When you get to the back of the mat, bend, shift the hips, push them back, and slowly stretch the legs up. And then walk your hands a little bit further forward towards downward facing dog if they're a little narrow. Mine were narrow. Take a deep breath here. Inhale, right leg high. See if you can come on left fingertips. If you can come on left fingertips, come on left one finger. And if you can do that, see if you can lift your left hand off. Left hand down, right leg down, switch, left leg up. Everything firm, lots of fire. Come up on fingertips. Right hand. Maybe just the right finger. Maybe the whole right hand comes off. Set it back down, left leg down. Look forward towards the top of the mat and with passion, hop, 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 or one hop, or one step to the top. Line up the feet, Uttanasana, standing forward bend. Inhale like a bellows, float the heart forward. Exhale and bow over. Take your arms wide, come up to standing. Inhale and exhale, gather the palms at the heart center. And then release, touch the mat. Utkatasana, chair pose, we go again, fire. Allow yourself to sit back, right? Let the heat start to arrive in the body. The legs stay strong, and then little cough in the belly so that it awakens. Good. Take your knees a little wider. Exhale, bow. Uttanasana, standing forward bend. Inhale. With passion, sweep the heart forward and step back. Exhale, plank. And again, you can hover in plank or little plank walks. The goal here is not to shift your hips or your shoulders. Everybody lift and look a little bit ahead of your mat so you're not looking down. Yeah, your head is heavy. They can be small, or you can just hold. Exhale, finish, and come all the way down. This time, toes down, curl up, cobra. Take the shoulders way back. Let the heart rise up like a flame, and like all the way up through the throat, all the way up through the top of the head, through the tops of the ears. Exhale, lower. You can just go to downward facing dog or come up table, and we'll do that little bear crawl towards the back again. So the knees are up, and then you just go opposite hand and foot to walk yourself back. Trying to turn on the core. When you get to the back, straighten the legs into downward facing dog, and then walk your hands out a little bit more. Inhale, right leg high. Get steady. Maybe fingertips of the left arm. Maybe one finger on the left hand. Maybe a whole left hand off the mat. Set that down, switch. Left leg up. Maybe fingertips on the right side. One finger. Everything up. Set that down. Left leg down, look forward, rise on tiptoes, bend your knees, step or hop. 1, 2, or 3 times to the top. Uttanasana, standing forward bend. Charge up your legs. So the legs are not sleepy. The power and the fire that starts to come into the body now transform into the leg muscles getting really firm. Inhale and sweep your heart towards the front. Exhale, fold, draw your tail towards your heels. Take your arms wide, feel for aliveness as you reach for the sky. Exhale, palms to your heart center. Return to your intention. One more time, bend the knees, touch the mat. Sweep up, Utkatasana, chair pose. Sit way back in the heels. Good. Knees can be apart if your feet are not together. Good, and then little cough, so the belly stays engaged. Exhale, fold, Uttanasana. Inhale, heart forward. Exhale, plank pose. Again, there's little walks, if it's available, or you can put your knees down if you need to just wait and hang out. Just telling the core, oh, hey, been a little while, friend, let's talk. Good, come back, chaturanga, if that's available. Nice, lower down, curl up, cobra, like a flame rising to the sky. Feel the heat come up through your body, all the way up through the top of the head, and then exhale to table pose. Hover the knees and walk back towards the back of the mat. Try not to wiggle everything as you go. Now try walking forward. Bear crawls, super fun. Oh, wait, walk back. All right, downward facing dog. Walk the hands back out if they're a little narrow. Last time of this, take the right leg up. Firm. Maybe take the left hand to fingertips. Maybe left fingertip, 1. Maybe lift the left arm. Lower back down and switch. Right arm up, left leg up. Come on, right fingertips. Right one finger, right hand off, and lower back down. Nice work, y'all. Take your right leg up again, and this time step forward, come into lunge. Take a breath, scissor the legs towards the middle, and with passion, reach for the sky. Lift up and out. That's the thing about fire and heat and passion. They don't let you stay low, they lift you up. Yes, so there's an uplifted quality. So charging up the legs, squeeze them to the middle. Back thigh wide. Draw your tail down. It's that little, then cough in the low belly to keep the belly stable. And then with passion, lift, reach up, reach out. Let the heat that you generated in the fire salutation travel through the body now. Good, bring your hands to your heart. Turn your back heel down and open up to warrior 2. Actually, let's do this. Let's straighten the front leg once you've turned, and then bend back in. Palms parallel to the floor. Good, take a deep breath in. Squeeze the legs with fire. So the back thigh stays wide, we know that. Drop your right hip down in the back and lift the front of the right hip crease off the front of the right hip, off the front of the right thigh is what I'm trying to say. Good. Low belly in and up, tail down. Whew. Sweep the backhand towards the mat and come back up into crescent. Inhale, lift, get tall. Exhale, walk both hands on the inside of the front leg. So my left hand is ending off a little off to the left. And now hug your right knee onto the inside of your right arm. See if you can pick up your right foot. Yeah, and then go back to downward facing dog. And then you walk your hands back onto your mat. Excellent. Inhale, left leg high. Exhale, step forward, come into lunge, spin up into crescent. Whew. Inhale, you open. Right? The intent of the yoga is not just like, let me make funky shapes. That is fun, but it's more than that. Let me get into a deep, passionate relationship with the source that is in my heart, the love, whatever empowers the rest of my life. Let's get in relationship with that. Squeezing the legs, keep your right hip out to the right, drop your tail and lift up with the low belly. And then reaching down through the legs, rise up. Passion lifts us. We don't have passion, we're dull, right? We want to lift us up. Bring your palms to your heart, spin your back heel down, line it up, and then straighten the front leg just for a minute, releasing the thigh burn. And then from the feet, draw up to the core, bend your front knee, Virabhadrasana 2. Check it out, make sure it's pointing out over your toes, second and third toe. Good. Lift the inner right thigh up and back. Draw your tail down, low belly up, and lift the front of this hip off the left thigh. There we go, now we have more space. Root into the earth to be able to unfurl, to spread out like a flame, all directions. Yeah. Now your backhand sweeps down and then all the way up to come back up into your crescent. Good. Bring your hands on the inside of the front leg. Now your left leg and your left arm touch each other. Really hug your left knee onto your left arm. And then see, keeping the arm straight, can you just flick your left foot up off the mat? Good. Step back to downward facing dog. Take a deep breath in downward facing dog. Reline up your hands if you need to, if you're off your mat somewhere. Totally reasonable. And then move through vinyasa if you'd like, or move through kind of a fire salutation. So adding in the little leg lifts and adding in the bear crawl. If you'd like to add that little bit of extra challenge for the core, the heat in the core. And of course, child's pose, always another good option. You're feeling like the fire is burning a little too fiercely. You just tone it down. Don't feed it quite so much. All right, once again, from downward facing dog, inhale, sweep your right leg high. Step forward and come into lunge. Now walk your right foot a little bit to the right. So I'm going about a foot width to the right and bring the hands on the inside again. This time I'm on my mat. Bring your back knee down. Scissor the legs towards each other. That means they're like slicing towards each other. There's the power and the aliveness in your legs. And keeping the back hip a little wider, wrap the right hip underneath. Now walk your hands a little bit further forward, and between the curtain of the arms, lift your heart up. So you're in a little bit of a baby lizard. Scissor the legs, push down into both legs, scoop your tail, lift your low belly. Now, walk your hands back, keep your right foot a little bit out to the right, and then slowly stretch your front leg and peel your toes up. So your foot is on a little baby diagonal, that's okay. You can pull your hips even more towards the left. So it's kind of a runner's lunge, it's kind of a Vikrupti runner's lunge, a twisted or off angle. And bow on the inside. And look forward, lunge up again into that little bit of lizard. So lift the heart, the thighs can go wide, scoop your tail and engage your low belly, then lift your heart, drag forward and through. Just like the legs are the wood in the fire, and then the heart's the flame rising up out of it. And again, pull back. Spread the toes. Again, you're at a little bit of an angle. So the tendency is for your right hip to want to swing wide and make that easier. Really swing the right hip underneath you and let the leg be at an angle. Then bow forward in between, or sort of on the inside of the right leg. One more time like this. Again, come forward into this lizard pose. So hug the right leg onto your upper arm. Left thigh wide. Scoop your tail and firm up your low belly as you now maybe descend to the hips more. Walk your hands even more forward. Lift your heart up. And keep the heart up as you walk back. Come back to this sort of sideways runner lunge. Swing the hips around so they're not out to the right. You got to hug the right outer hip in and then bow over. You're bowing on the inside of the right leg. If possible, even now, you can put your right forearm towards the mat on the inside of the right leg and have a little push of, for me, it's my right knee is hitting my right shoulder, but that may or may not be in your range of motion in this moment. Good. Inhale, come back up to the lunge. This time, walk your right foot back into neutral. Set the hips, hands on the front thigh. Take the tops of the thighs wide, and then as you scoop your tail, go a little cough to lift the low belly, and join the hands as you reach up like a flame. Now from deep in your pelvis, push into the legs to lift your heart and curl up, maybe a little baby back bend. Stretch the whole front line, the left side of the body. Take your right hand on your right thigh, arc a little bit to the right, whole left side, getting some awakening. Come back to neutral, bring your hand back down and step back to downward facing dog. Switch sides. So inhale your left leg high, step forward, come into lunge. Walk your left foot just about a foot width over to the left, and then lower your back knee if you haven't already. Your hands come on the inside. There we go. Deep breath in. Open to your unique inner passion. It's already there. Now, squeeze the legs. It's a scissoring quality. They draw towards each other. Feel your right inner thigh awaken. Thighs wide. Left hip will try to go left. Wrap it down and under as you lift your low belly. And walk the hands a little forward. Draw your heart forward in between the window of the arms. Breath. Now shift back. I sometimes move my back knee back a little as I do that. So you're on the inside. Your left foot's a little on a diagonal. Torso's on the inside. Deep breath in, firm the legs. Maybe bow if it's available. Tendency will be for your hips to swing out to the left. And that'll help your left toes turn in. So if you see your left toes turning in, hug your left hip in, and that might change what's going on in the toes. Inhale, come up, walk yourself forward again into that lizard position, squeezing the legs, scoop the tail, firm the low belly, and walk your hands a little further forward than the last time. So again, it's like the legs are pushed down into the earth strongly, firmly. And resist the urge to bow in this one. We'll bow in a second. Actually lift your heart, your sternum, lift your gaze, like you're the flame now, lifting up out of the wood of the legs. Nice, walk yourself back again. Again, left hip will try to swing wide, so wrap it under you. Charge up both legs, they scissor in. Tops of the thighs wide, lift your low belly as you bow over. And you can take the variation if you want to hold your foot with one or both hands. You can, but just notice we're not turning the belly over the leg in this case. We're going on the inside. Just a slightly different angle on the hamstring. Inhale, come up. One more time, lunge into the lizard position. So the legs are steady, and even though my pelvis is starting to move towards the mat a little lower, I'm not completely collapsing all the energy in the legs, right? Like it's not a yin type experience. There's a lot of strength going on that's happening, that's helping me move closer. And then you can walk the hands out, maybe further than before. And the heart lifts, between the arms. Really push down, or wrap the left seat underneath of you and push down through the left foot. That takes all the issue of crampy and painfulness out of my left hip. Might not do it for you, but it does for me. All right, walk yourself back. Last time here. Again, stretch the left leg straight. Hug the left hip towards the right. Hug the right hip towards the left so they hug in. Bow over. And this time, if it's available, you may bring your arm, your left arm, on the inside of the left leg. So I'm actually putting my left shoulder on the inside of my left knee. That works for me. That may not be where you are. You can be anywhere in between. But do make a little contact between the leg and the arm. Really scissor the hips. Bring the right hip forward. Inhale and come back up. Lunge back into that lizard position and then walk your left foot back into the middle. Squeeze the legs, scoop the tail, hands to the front thigh. Little, oh right, low belly. Draw the tailbone down and rise up in Anjaneyasana. So I'm joining the palms this time just to make it a little different. That's not for you, that's fine. Descend the hips a little if it's available. And then lift up, curl back, baby back bend, and push into the back foot to help support that. And with passion, bring the left arm to the left thigh and arc over towards the left without letting your left hip go over there. So hug the left hip in and you arc to open the right side of the body. Breathe. Inhale back up in the middle. Exhale, touch the mat. And it's your choice to go through a vinyasa. It can be regular vinyasa. You can add the little fiery elements if you wish, or to go to down dog or go to child's pose. So if you're on fire in a way that's not supportive for your body, for your mind, then back off. If you're still sort of feeling dull, give yourself some challenge to help wake up. You do it not to like prove anything, right? But to help awaken, to bring more consciousness into the places that have been stuck, that have been quiet, that have been sleepy, which happens to everybody. So you notice in downward facing dog or child's pose, and send breath into the place that feels sluggish. Maybe it's the mind, maybe it's the emotion, maybe it's somewhere in the body. Maybe it's everywhere. Maybe it's nowhere. Who knows? So once again, come to downward facing dog. Let's take the right foot forward in between the hands. Oh no, step your left foot up to meet it. I have not figured out my transition for this. Inhale your heart out and exhale, fold. Remember, the journey is always to the heart. So anytime we fold in, it's just like, oh right, my heart is here waiting for me. Draw your tails down, draw your buttocks flesh down, reach to the sky, inhale, come up. Palms together in front of your heart, exhale. Okay, take a wide stance facing the long edge of your mat, but take a narrow wide stance. So it's only about shoulder, a little bit wider than shoulder width. I can't remember if we did this last week or not, for horse pose. So take all 10 toes straight ahead and hands to your hips. Take a deep breath in and then exhale, bend your knees as if you're gonna ride a horse. So I like that image because it doesn't let you knock your knees in together. Imagine a 2,000-pound animal that you're gonna sit on and you can't knock the feet together. Now you can bend a little deeper and bring your forearms onto your thighs. What I don't want you to do is just like give all of your weight to your forearms and then not actually work your legs. Work your legs, your forearms are just hovering. Good. Squeeze the shins in, thighs wide. Little cough. Low belly's engaged. Now with your forearms down, drag your heart forward between your arms. So instead of like collapsing down, actually looking up. It's actually close to like a 2-point stance. Yeah, I know. Now I know these things, Madison, because my daughter has started doing horseback riding. So if you were gonna jump on a horse, you'd need to be kind of like this. Heart forward, good. Stretch both legs, stretch both arms all the way up overhead. Inhale, And then take the feet out wider. Take the arms out parallel to the floor. Again, bend the knees. Now you can't quite do it in the same way in this wide stance. Knees are still sort of pointing ahead. They can't exactly. They start to go out towards the sides as they need to be in this position. But that's the idea. And again, come forward. This time, you're not trying to keep your butt under you. Let your butt go back. Yes, there you go. It's kind of a squat. Again, I'm not putting all my weight on my arms, but use the arms to drag the heart forward. Bring your fingertips to the floor. Keep the knees as they are. Widen the legs, belly. Good. Drag your heart forward. Slowly stretch the legs as you bow. Let the head be the last thing. So the head keeps dragging forward until the very last moment. Hands can come to the outer ankles. Bow, Prasarita Padottanasana. The legs can come straight or as straight as is available. From the feet, draw up through both legs into the core of the pelvis. So you're drawing up from the earth into the fiery core of the body. Imagine you're drawing up from the fire of the earth into the core of you. And then there is that little still, like if you did a, you'll feel the low abdominals kick in, and that's what we want. Transverse abdominals working. Draw the buttocks flesh down towards your heels. Need that. Press down and out. Through the legs, into the floor with passion. So even though it's a quieter pose, can you bring the same aliveness and attentiveness to it? Inhale back up onto your fingertips. Again, the belly goes a little engaged and the tail, and slide the buttocks flesh down towards your heels to inhale and come all the way up. Heel toe your feet back together. Turn towards, you can be in the center of your mat, turn towards the front and come to Malasana squat. So I'm on blanket duty for that. So if you need a blanket, you can join me on blanket duty. If you don't need a blanket, you don't have to. No. Excellent. Yeah, so feel it. Notice the heat that you've already produced. And what was needed to get there was just attentiveness. Right? The practice should actually cause some friction. It should cause some heat. There should be things that you don't like. Because when that happens, it helps us to transform our relationship with things that we don't like and bring more aliveness, vitality, heat, interest, attention to anything that's going on in life. Come forward to Bakasana. So whatever makes sense, you can hop up on a block if you need to. Remember we talked about bring your heels together. Remember we talked about it as being like an airplane that you shift forward into it rather than trying to lift up into it. So think of takeoff being like an airplane. And that little is gonna help you. Yeah, see how it goes. Spread your toes out. If Bakasana is easy, you are welcome to take a variation of stretching a leg or two, or not at the same time, or even jumping to Chaturanga if that's part of your practice. Aww. I'm just gonna wait. Okay, good. Do it twice. Do it twice. Or just hang out for a really long time if that's your practice instead. But notice it requires this like passionate drive and heat, right? Some fire to say, yes, I'm gonna bring my face this close to the floor and at the same time balance on my arms and be able to hang out there and not freak out, hopefully, ideally, maybe. Even if I do sort of slip and fall in one direction or another. Nice work, good. All right, come on back. Let's go to downward facing dog. And then step your right foot forward into lunge, walk it over to come into pigeon. Come on the outer edge of the right foot, lower the left knee down, outer right knee. There we You just go, okay, find your breath. There you are, Kathleen. Squeeze your legs, left hip to the left, right hip back and under, and even here, just makes the low belly say, all right, I'm going to participate. Walk the hands forward. And like your passion for pigeon might be pretty strong right now. Or it might not be strong at all for your pigeon. I don't know. Check in with where your body is on that. We want to bring that same kind of like heat, same kind of fiery attentiveness, towards these poses where we're bowed in, where it could be easy to relax. Not even really relax, but to go to sleep. Right? We spend a lot of our time distracted and sort of sleeping through life. So we step on the yoga mat, it's this opportunity to reawaken passion. We're talking about that as aliveness, vitality, like communion with life, really living. And that comes from the deep inner connection of the heart, and it comes from awakening on all the levels, the body, the breath, the mind, the heart, the wisdom, till you're like sitting in bliss. We don't ever move, we don't ever pay attention, we're gonna miss it. Walk your hands back. Curl your toes under in the back. Yeah. Make the back leg strong. Step to side plank on the left hand and the left foot. So your left foot turns out. You can always lower the left knee down if you need to, or just sweep yourself right up. Vashisthasana. If you can, lift the right leg off, like a little star shape. Right hand down, step back, downward facing dog. Inhale the left leg up and then step it forward. Walk it over, come to pigeon, left side, right knee down. Good, squeeze the legs. So, y'all know me, we're not just gonna slide off into pigeon where we go to sleep, we're gonna engage it. Wrap the leg muscles around the bones and the right hip to the right, the left hip under, and then low belly toned, walk your hands forward. Bow down or stay upright, right? Like if that's where your pigeon is, you work within the boundary of your body. Notice the texture and feeling of your breath. So can you be attentive without and really receiving without losing the kind of fiery aliveness? Can you be fiery and alive without losing the attentiveness and the receptivity? A lot of you will tend to be towards more like me, like we need more fire, we need to turn it on. So it's like in this moment, don't go to sleep. But some folks, some of you will be a little opposite of me. You've always got the fire, you need to tone it down. So in this moment, don't burn yourself. Stay receptive. So interesting, the yoga can meet anyone, anywhere, if you know how to work with it. We want a nice long burning bonfire. Not short and done out, not just simple, not just simmering and sputtering out every 2 minutes. Walk your hands back, legs strong. Right hand under you. You're going to go on the outer edge of the right foot and the right hand to Vashisthasana, just straight up. If it's too much, go to down dog. Or put the knee down. Good. You can lift the left leg if you wish. You can even take your hand to your foot and lift it up. Hips back. Good. Hand down, downward facing dog. Take a deep breath and really press the thighs back. One more time, step your right foot forward into lunge. Okay, walk your right foot just a little bit to the right. Walk your right hand on the inside. Bring your back knee down. There we go. So you'll notice that the leg will just, if it wants to open, it might just like sneak out. Don't let that happen. Walk your hips back a little bit and actually pull the hips back. Deep breath in, reach your heart forward. Yeah, and then forearms down maybe. And if that's available, this right hand goes, push the calf forward out of the way, right hand under onto arm over the shoulder. Yeah, so here's one thing that's gonna help is if you actually lift your hips up, because if your hips are super low, there's not as much room to get under there. So I'm cool with you like sending your hips back and up, bringing the back knee in a little closer. So if the back knee is back and the hips are low, there's not as much room. But if the back knee comes closer and the hips go up, there's a little more room to get under. So options, yeah. Maybe you've got, let's try this, maybe hold the ankle with both hands. If you can, maybe you lift the back thigh. And then if the back thigh goes up, you'll notice your buns are like, I'll just fly this face. Scoop the tail down. Yeah. Fire. Lower the back knee, walk your hands out. And let's just switch sides. You can go to down dog or you can just step. Stepping made more sense to me in that moment. All right, so left leg forward. Left leg a little bit out to the left, but hug your left knee in towards your upper arm. Back knee down. If you need the support of the hips being closer, you just bring the back knee in a little bit closer. But before you go over, drag your heart forward. Yes, good. Then the hips can go back and you kind of try to keep the spine long. You may start with just the forearms down. The lizard pose. Again, my leg is like, I'll just go out to the side and make it easier. No, hug the knee in. Then maybe take the left hand behind the left thigh, push the calf out of the way. And you can actually really slide your body over towards the left. And then I wig my elbow out to the side. I don't know what that is. Wing my elbow out to the side to get it under there more. Then maybe hold the ankle. Back thigh can lift or not. Then you scissor the left hip under a lot. Yeah. Good, back knee down. Unwind from this. Come to a seated position. Bring both legs ahead of you. Have your blocks close by. You might know where we're headed in a second, but I might surprise you along the way too. All right, both legs forward. Notice if you feel more or less alive than when you got to yoga. If you're feeling any bit more alive, then we're in good shape. Yes, Kat, thank you. Okay, so keeping the left leg perfectly straight out ahead of you, bend your right knee in. Your right leg can be anywhere in the continuum from foot beside the knee to foot really way up into the upper inner thigh. If it gets all the way up there, your sitting bone may start to come off. We want to try to keep it down generally. Put your left hand on the mat, take your right arm up and lean a little bit over in this direction so you get some side body space, and we want the side body to clear the inner leg. Now you're going to reach way out forward. You may need to add a strap. I could have said that, and your hand may or may not come to your foot. So somewhere in that general direction. Yes. You'll notice again, we're in the same positioning of getting the leg to hug towards the body. Yeah, and the body to move forward. Excellent. You can walk your left fingertips forward now. Inhale, lift your heart as we did many times through the practice. Excellent. Stay there or come more into a forward fold. Couple of breaths here. Inhale and come up. Take your right hand now. So it's already out ahead of you. Take it out to the side. And you're going to kind of karate chop the upper right arm into the shin. And then just push down. So now hug your right leg. It wants to go, for me, it wants to just fall off to the side. Hug it in and into the arm and lift up the chest. Good. And unwind from that. Take your right leg forward. Switch sides. Bring your left leg back. Again, roll your inner right thigh down. Sit up tall. So your leg, again, may be closer to your foot, closer to the knee, or it may be closer in. We're aiming for closer in, but working within the boundaries of your body. Take your right hand to the right, lean up and over towards the right with the left arm. And so actually, you're not like taking the whole thing. Your buttocks stay down, so you're just getting this side body length. I notice I'm leaning a little bit back to help with that. It feels good. And then you're gonna circle around to come out. I'm trying to reach past my foot. Hug left leg in. And then either hold your foot or use a strap. Before you bow forward, walk your right hands in and like a flame, lift up through the heart. So low belly lifts, low back in and up, lift the heart up, then bow. And again, bowing is relative. You may not go anywhere. You might just be working the heart lift. That's fine. Hug the right knee towards the upper right arm. And bow. Toe in the belly if it's available. Right leg strong too. Sorry, the left leg towards the upper left arm. Right leg really strong. Inhale and come up. And you're staying somewhat bowed forward. This left hand now sweeps out. So it's making a karate chop of the bone to bone. It's not necessarily the most comfortable, but extend out. So maybe you're pretty low down on the leg. Maybe you're up higher. You can do this very elegantly way up here like Cleopatra or something, or if possible, little wrap around. Yeah. Again, notice how there's this ease of collapsing. The clavicle is in the front of the chest. Spread out the front of the chest. Good. And then inhale and unwind. Take this leg out. Okay. So we get a little weird, it's a weird stick to throw into the fire. It's like got little knobs and stuff. So it might pop and crack and do weird things. A little try, see how it goes, play. So you can use your blocks or not for this guy. Honestly, I don't know if I have used my blocks for this. So here's what it looks like. Leg comes in, same thing we just did, getting over, and we're gonna skip the whole bowing in the forward fold, take the arm around, and strong connection between the upper arm and the shin. The bones are gonna slice into each other. It doesn't feel good. So if you want socks right there, you can have socks. Hands come down. I'm gonna try the blocks. Let's see. I'm gonna come off of my blanket. I don't know if blocks are gonna work. All right. Hands come down, lift everything up. So very similar to this one, which we'll do next, but just a different way to play with it. It takes a lot, a little fire. Hopefully that makes sense. All right, so let's just see what happens. You may or may not, it's a funky guy. You'll see how it goes. So bend the right leg in. Take the right arm up, lean a little left, so you're getting clearance to the right side of the body, and then reach forward and wrap the right arm around and press it into the floor. Flex the left leg strong and go for it. I don't have any great words of wisdom, just ignite the fire in the belly, push down, lift up. This is a helicopter style arm balance. That is just not happy. Yeah, good. Come on back down. Was anyone successful? Yeah, no, I know, it's super weird. Izzy was successful, good. All right, let's try the second side. Second side might be different, you never know. All right, so lean a little bit left. Left arm, lean a little right. There you go. And reach around. And you just got to bring your passion for like, I don't know what's going to happen. We're going to see. We're just going to try. Push the leg and the arm together. Push down, lift up. It's super funky. Good. Yep. And then come on back down. Good job bringing your passions. All right. Let's try the one that makes a lot more sense to you because you've done it way more times. So you can bring your blocks close if you're going to use the blocks for a little more support to come up in Eka Hasta Bujangasana, or not. You don't need them if you don't need them. Bend your right leg. Bring your right leg up and bend it. Summon what you have, right? Like you have power, you have passion, you have vitality. And then you can take the left hand onto the right foot, take the right arm underneath. And as you all know, it's relative. Wherever you go is where you go. On the arm underneath, hands go onto the blocks or onto the floor. And you can either do the rocking bit that we've done before, lean forward, lean back, lean forward, butt up, lean back, foot up, or just try lifting off. And if that's your practice, lift off, that's fine. Squeeze in, listen with passion. And back down. Whew. Good stuff. All right, let's try the second side. Yeah, it takes, this is what I love about the arm balance, like it takes everything. Whatever you brought this morning, your arm balance would like to eat that for breakfast, right? Like, let's do this. So that deep, you have to have this kind of passionate commitment to trying, else it'll never happen. And you'll just see, right hand to the bottom of the left foot, left arm underneath. Here you go. Squeeze, 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 leg onto arm. And again, you can do you all have met the rocking before with the foot coming up or coming back, right? Or just lift straight up. Push the left arm into the leg. Left leg into the arm. And that'll help. Good. And come on back down. Yeah. I think everyone I've burned now. Good stuff. Okay, so come now to turn to face the short edge of your mat, which you all probably already are. A little bit more before we finish. We're almost there. Take your feet out ahead of you and sit up tall. Hands behind your thighs. Tip back. Let the feet hover up. Navasana. So you can keep your hands on your thighs. Little, right? There's the low belly. Or take the hands off the thighs and hug it. Lift the heart. Just be in there for a sec. And then release back down. And I like to extend up after that. Let my spine move around a little bit, like a dancing flame. Yes, I love that y'all are with me on that stuff too. All right, so how did we do this? Here's how it goes. You're going to tip back again. Take your right arm between the legs and over towards the left. Squeeze the legs. Left foot crosses over the right. Spread the hands, twist towards the left. I know, it's a lot of pieces and parts. Yeah, there you go. Twist and look left. Hook your ankles, twist and look left. That's it. You got it. This is the position you're going to be in just a second. It's the position that you're in right now also. That's pretty awesome. Turn back towards the middle and release that and switch sides. I'm going to turn around so I can see you. So again, you're tilted back, Navasana. Left arm goes through under the right leg crosses over, and then you squeeze your knees onto your left upper arm. Twist towards the right. Spread your hands. Yeah, chaturanga arms. Yes. I think my ankles are wrong. There we go. Squeeze the legs, squeeze the legs, squeeze the legs. Good. And then come on back to the center. All right, we got one more. One more. So Astavakrasana, you have the options here of coming at it from different ways. Number one option, go back to what we just did a moment ago in that Navasana with the legs wrapped up and over, da-da-da. So this is the position you'll be in. You just sort of flipping it over sideways. Option two is to try to come up from the floor. So you start with that same position, come all the way down to the floor, hands on the floor, legs on the floor here. Then with fiery passion, I don't know if I can do it today, you squeeze the legs in, and all of a sudden, you're kind of in Astavakrasana for a second, right? So I actually really like that one because it's way less scary in terms of like, I'm not about to dive bomb to the floor, I'm already on the floor. I just have to get up off of it, so that kind of heat and lift of fire. So that's kind of a fun way to do it. And what happens is the legs, it's the work of the legs squeezing. Like I can't stay down if my legs squeeze enough. That brings me up. So there's option two. And then option three is to go from where we just were into it. So you can, I don't know which side's better. I don't know if one side is better. So the leg is up. You're here, cross over, squeeze legs, point them to the side, come out into arm balance. So lots of options. Yeah, Madison. Okay, so I'd love for you to pick one of those things and give it a try. Bring some fiery passion to whatever makes sense for you. And that can be coming back to the Navasana. You know, it can be Navasana onto your side and squeeze up. Give it 2 tries on each side. And you can change up your trials. Yes. It would be really great to be in the room with each other because you would be ignited by each other's passion. So imagine that this whole field of these strong women is right here with you, doing it. Yes. Whew. Good work. I love the coming up off the floor because it really does give you kind of a, yeah. Nice, Kathleen. That's it. Lift your heart. If you're in the barbell, let's try stretching your heart forward. A little bit of the airplane position. Yeah, that's it, Sarah. Ooh, good, Madison. That's hard. And once you've tried 2 times on each side, you can come back up to the center. And we'll wait for the friends who are still trying, which is good work for everyone. Yeah, just think butt back, feet forward. Or squeeze, butt back, squeeze the knees is a good sense to kind of play with. All right, if you're still playing, keep on playing. Yeah. If you're not still playing, take your arms up. Let's do the wrist love. So as you squeeze your wrist, pull down with the hand that's holding the wrist, push up with your hand, with your fingers. Creating some space. And then this hand does the magic move, just like pat yourself on the back for trying. It's not like becoming a stretch or anything. It's just like, good job. How often do you get that? Not much. Try the other side. Squeeze, push down. This hand's, the hand that you're holding is pushing up. Ding ding, little pat on the back. Good job on this side. And then let's take the hands into, like you're holding a softball. I don't know if you can see that. Elbows lift so that you can really engage the underside muscles. Push. Do push the hands into each other pretty firmly. Yeah. And then you can see how you feel about this. Just like a little bit of moving the hand and the wrist. And some days I love this, some days I don't. You can bring the hands with the fingers back. So up to you. So my hands are on the floor, my fingers are back. It's a little lean back, but temperate. You know, you're not doing, you don't want to overstrain. Okay, so hopefully that, if there is anything in the wrists, that's relieving, creating. Let's again take a wide seat, or take a seat facing the wide edge of the mat, wide angle of the mat, and take the legs out wide. They don't have to be 180 degrees. 90 degrees is plenty. Somewhere between 90 and 120 is what we're going for. Internally rotate your legs. Let the legs start to be like ash, charred wood that's falling towards the mat, so really heavy towards the mat. And then fingertips down, lift the heart. Isometrically hug your legs towards each other. Either stay upright or walk your hands forward. Again, it's the little tone of the belly as you come forward. Slide the buttocks flesh down towards the floor. Use this for grounding. Forward is relative. You might have your belly on the floor. You might not be forward at all if we were measuring with a protractor, but just engage. Engage the legs, press them down into the floor. Start to direct your vision again towards your heart space. And open up to the passion and the source of the passion. Open up to the wellspring of love that's already there inside of you. This yoga helps us get back in touch with that. Walk your hands back slowly, bring your legs back in. And now come down onto your back. You can have a strap close by. We may have enough time to use it, I'm not sure. I'm feeling that just bringing my hands to the heel of my hands to the base of the thigh and pushing away to create some space feels really nice in this moment. You might try that. Knees bent, feet on the mat. And then take your feet out about as wide as your mat. Keep the knees bent. Take your hands out into a cactus or T and take both knees over to the right side. Flex your feet, both knees to the right. In this case, we're particularly paying attention to the left leg, the left thigh. So from the left hip, keep the top of the left thigh bone in the hip socket, but with passion, stretch a little further. Lengthen the left leg through the left knee. You're on the inner edge of your left foot in this case. If it doesn't cause strain, you may slide your right outer ankle to your left thigh, lower thigh. If it causes any strain in the knee, the back, anywhere else, then that's too much. Just don't do it. Slide your foot back down if it is on your leg and bring both legs up into the center. Switch sides, take both knees over to the opposite side. on the inner edge of the right foot. Keep your right leg toned, but take the top of the right thigh into the hip socket, back in the hip socket. And then stretch your right thigh bone longer from the hip to the right knee. So we've done a lot of work that's contracted the front of the body, and this is just meant to open the front of the body a little. You may slide your left ankle onto the right knee if that doesn't cause strain. If it causes strain, don't do it. Feel the delicious warmth of the body. There's a kind of radiance that comes when we work through the sluggishness into this pulsating aliveness that is really more who we naturally are. Release your left foot back down, take your right leg and left leg up into the center, walk your feet back into the center. Let's take the foot up into the strap just for a moment. So right leg up into the strap. You may stretch the left thigh down towards the floor. That's really useful in this case again because it's stretching out the front line of the body. Spread your toes, firm your legs. Stay attentive but softer. So you're attending more to the deeper layers now, to the wisdom of your body and mind and heart, to the source. Take the strap just in your left hand and take your right foot a couple of inches to the left just for a breath or two. Keep spreading your toes. Keep hugging the right outer hip in and down towards the short edge of the mat where your left foot is. Inhale up into the center, bring your right leg down, set it beside the left and pause. And switch, bring the left leg up into the strap, ball of the foot in the strap, take the left leg to the sky. Create the low back curve. Charge up the legs, spread your toes. Take the strap just in your right hand. Guide the left foot a couple of inches over to the right. Pause there, doesn't have to be far. And keep spreading the toes. And then hug the left outer hip in and down towards the short edge of the mat. Notice if your face is clenched. Release any unnecessary contraction. Inhale your left leg back up, release it from the strap, and then hug both legs in and come into either a ball or a happy baby. Think of yourself like the last little ember of a fire. Last little bit that might be, could say looks kind of like a piece of wood, but it's really about to dissolve. So as this feels complete in this position, slowly release yourself out to come to Shavasana. Let yourself surrender into the floor. Feel for contraction.
or resistance, and anything that's pulling out and away from Shavasana, and feed it into the fire. Surrender anything that is not useful, anything that's distracting, anything that's calling you away from your heart. Surrender that into the flame in the center of the heart, into the fire, to be burned up, be transformed, so that you are left in a state of radiance and glowing, pulsating vitality. Pulsing with deep peace and the love that comes from the very center of who you are. Rest in that pulsation for the next several minutes in Shavasana. Let your body soften just a bit more. And then deepen your breathing. And slowly stretch and move like a phoenix arising from the ashes, newly created. Gently bend your knees. Roll to your right. Pause. Press down into your hands now and make your way back up to seated position and close your eyes. Turn back inwards. Join the palms in front of the heart. Again, it's this outward mudra that really signifies the inner connection. May your practice fuel your passion for life, and the passions that you are drawn to in your life. May they transform you. May you bring the passion and pour it back into your practice as a passion for entering the heart, the seat of love, the seat of peace, the seat of joy within all beings. We'll close with a round of Om. Welcome your breath. Namaste. Alrighty, everyone. Thank you so much for practicing with me today. It's been lovely.